What's up, Taiwan? I'm Ethan Liu with news from here in Taiwan and around the world. Doctors of Chinese medicine in Taiwan said an herbal formula meant to fight COVID is also effective against a common type of seasonal flu.
它就是让病毒比较不容易攻入细胞啦，第一个哈。那第二个，即便它攻入细胞之后，它会去抑制这些发炎讯号，让它不要发炎的那么严重。
Known locally as Qingguan Yihao, this formula was used to treat hundreds of patients during the COVID-19 pandemic. Taiwan Centers for Disease Control says over 180,000 people sought medical attention for flu-like illnesses last week, the highest weekly number in 10 years. Taiwan's annual Lantern Festival marks the official end of the Lunar New Year holiday season, and it's celebrated in many ways across the country. But one place in southern Taiwan does it with a bang. Philip Brossard went to see for himself what all the buzz is about.
It's been called one of the most dangerous festivals on Earth. And watching it in action, it's easy to see why. During the annual Yenshui Beehive Fireworks Festival in the outskirts of Tainan City in the south, the whole point of taking part is to get blasted with bottle rockets to ward off bad luck. The most common origin story dates back over 100 years.
是因为盐水这个地方它发生瘟疫，那在很多人都没有办法解决的情况之下，地方的士绅来到了武庙，跟关圣帝君祈求，希望能够解决这个瘟疫。那关圣帝君呢就降价指示我们盐水区的居民，告诉他们说，在元宵当天呢要请他出巡，然后出巡的路上呢沿途释放鞭炮。
And as Taiwan faces its worst outbreak of the flu in years, that history feels especially relevant.
要施打这个疫苗，那所以说这关圣帝君就是驱除瘟疫的哈，那所以说大家都能够平安。
Some people still come for spiritual reasons.
祈求全家大小平安健康。
Some are here by chance.
I came for a work trip and I just got lucky. It was the Lantern Festival. And then a coworker of mine, he told me about this and I had to come.
And some just for the thrills.
人生一定要刺激一次，一定要来。
But with so much chaos, people are bound to get hurt. And injuries are common.
就是爆炸炸到的破皮的受伤，还有再来是烧烫伤，因为鞭炮本身有温度，再来是脸部这边的一些东西碰到眼睛会受伤，然后往年之前还会到很多的程度，所以有时候一个炮层爆炸之后就会一批3到5个伤患。
Anyone coming to the festival must prepare proper safety equipment or stay well away from the action.
I'm covered head to toe to keep these flaming rockets away from any exposed skin. But the nerves are still getting to me and the people around as this beehive behind me is getting ready to blow.
It's hard to say which might be more dangerous, a plague or swarms of flaming projectiles. And as for the bottle rockets bringing luck with every strike on your body, well, making it out of the Yenshui Beehive Fireworks Festival with only minor bruises is lucky enough. Luffy Lee, Alex Chen, Millie Hughes, and Philip Broussard for TaiwanPlus.
Two temples from the southern city of Tainan are bringing a taste of Taiwan to Indonesia, joining in local celebrations to mark the Lantern Festival. John Mantres has the story.
In the Indonesian city of Bogor, not far from Jakarta, people are celebrating in the streets as the Lantern Festival arrives. It's a day also celebrated in Taiwan. And to mark this year's event, two temples from Taiwan's south have sent contingents here to give the party a Taiwanese flair. They've brought their temple deities with them, and they're excited to introduce their beliefs to local Indonesians.
促成宗教友谊的这个互访，甚至能够达到那个两方友谊城市的那个互相交流。
And there are other aspects of Taiwanese temple culture on display, including face-painted dancers performing in formation, a style of religious performance called jiajiang.
在于我们这个西来岸的这个石家将的这个台湾庙宇的这个家将文化，来宣扬我们 两个方面的这个友谊这样子。
Local reception has been warm, both among Chinese Indonesians who already share many of these beliefs and local Muslims who may be experiencing this culture for the first time.
Disambut dengan baik. Masyarakat Bogor sangat senang sekali atas kedatangannya rombongan dari Taiwan.
And this is not the terminal stop on the temple's visit to Indonesia. They're also traveling to the city of Bandung, about 100 kilometers to the east, until February 15th, further spreading the spirit of cultural exchange between these two Asian countries. Hank Xu and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
A Taiwan-based scientist is in Antarctica studying how a tiny wingless insect is able to survive freezing temperatures. At only about half a centimeter long, it's the largest fully terrestrial species native to the continent. For more on his work on this mighty midge and the significance of Antarctic research, Wesley Lewis spoke with National Taiwan University Associate Professor of Entomology, Matan Shalomi.
Could you tell me more about the insect species you're studying in Antarctica? What are you trying to find out about it?
Even though Antarctica is so huge, there's only really one insect that's native to the continent itself, and not also found on some of the other islands. And it's a tiny little fly with no wings, so it can't even fly, called Belgica antarctica. They're only about maybe a millimeter thick and half a centimeter long when they are at maximum size. And that's the larva. The adults are even tinier. Nonetheless, they are technically the largest terrestrial animal in Antarctica because they can't swim, unlike the penguin. So one thing I'm here to do is to try to figure out a little bit more about how it's able to survive the cold. My hypothesis is that it might have some relationship with ice-nucleating bacteria. Now, those are bacteria which will affect the freezing point of water. We actually use one of these bacteria to make artificial snow. You mix the bacteria with water and the water will freeze at a relatively warm temperature. So I've been down here looking for these little larvae, dissecting them, plating the gut microbes, growing the microbes, and seeing can any of them nucleate ice.
What is the broader significance of this type of research in Antarctica? And what do you plan to bring back from this trip?
These ice-nucleating microbes could be used to control insects in colder temperatures. If you expose insects to these bacteria, they will freeze at a higher temperature. So if you have something that lives in the relatively cold climate and you want it to die, you make it freeze a little bit sooner. Or you could use this on food or rice or whatever that you're storing at a cold temperature. Add ice-nucleating bacteria and things will freeze sooner. I am planning to bring back some of the microbe samples and hopefully describe them, learn more about them, name them if they're a new species. Who knows? We don't know what we might find. I'll bring back DNA samples just so we can get a full picture of the microbiome.
What about Antarctica makes it so important for scientific research?
There's a lot about Antarctica that's really important. A lot of our research on climate change comes here, and Antarctica is experiencing climate change a lot more strongly than other parts of the world. So I think the global climate average has risen by 1.5 degrees Celsius, which is already bad. Here in the peninsula, it's gone up by about 4 degrees Celsius in the same amount of time. So the global average actually means it's a lot higher here in the poles. And it's had a really serious effect on life here. Consider the base that I'm in. Humans have been on this base for decades, and they can see major changes. Penguins are one example. The island where I'm on now used to have very few penguins. Then it had a bunch of Adelie penguins, which like relatively cold climates. And right now there's about 6,000 Gentoo penguins on this little island. They're really cute, but they shouldn't be here. This is supposed to be too cold for the Gentoo penguin. They're not supposed to get this far south, and yet they are everywhere. So Antarctica is a really good example of climate change in action.
That was National Taiwan University Professor Matan Shalomi discussing his research in Antarctica. Thank you for watching today's What's Up Taiwan. Finally, check out this giant schnauzer who just won Best in Show at the Westminster Kennel Club Dog Show in New York. I'm Ethan Liu. Take care, and I'll see you next time.